Well, Chicago is an awesome city, and today it's just a beautiful day. A beautiful day for baseball. It is time for baseball as Pix 11 presents New York Yankees baseball tonight. It's the New York Yankees against the Chicago White Sox in the first game of a four-game set from Guaranteed Rate Field here in Chicago, Illinois. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball along with John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees get out of the Bronx, and they lost 2 series there. They lost 10 of their last 12 games, and it was time to make some changes, which is what they've done. So the roster looks a little different. Tyler Webb and Mason Williams both optioned down to AAA. Rob Refsnyder and Ronald Herrera were called. Aaron Hicks, an oblique problem, 10-day DL, probably going to miss 3 to 4 weeks. And Jacoby Ellsbury was reinstated from the concussion DL, and he's been out a long time. He's right in the lineup, John.
Yeah, it's been about a month, Michael, since Ellsbury hurt himself crashing into the center field wall at Yankee Stadium, experienced concussion-type symptoms, also had some neck issues. The good news, Aaron Hicks did a great job substituting for him, but now you get your starting center fielder back in the lineup after only 2 rehab starts at Scranton.
And they really do need him. So let's take a look at the pitching matchup in this game. A couple of young left-handers. David Holmberg will go for the White Sox, 1-1 with a 2.84. And for the Yankees, it's Jordan Montgomery, who's 5-4, 3.74. And during this recent stretch, John, he's been a godsend for them.
Well, he really has. He's been their most consistent starter, the young rookie from the left side, getting it done his last time out. 5 2/3 against the Angels, 5 strikeouts, only 2 runs. When you see these highlights for Montgomery, everything is down. The good changeup, the quality curveball. Great job by Romine guiding him through that game. Yankees need to get back on track. They're looking to Montgomery to get it done for them here in Chicago.
And Joe Girardi said he needs some length from his starter, so more pressure on Montgomery. What's the pressure on Ellsbury? How does he feel? Is he ready? Was he called up too quickly? We'll hear from him and Meredith Marakovich when we return on Pix 11.
Pix 11, I'm Meredith Marakovich alongside Yankee center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury. Jacoby, back off of the DL. What told you that you were ready?
Just really didn't have any symptoms. Got some games, 2 games under my belt, felt good, and got the call.
How scary is the concussion, not really knowing when you're going to be able to go?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is just not knowing, how you're going to feel day to day. Going through it, I'm just happy to be back. Happy to be back playing. You miss playing. You miss playing with your teammates. So just really excited about tonight.
Are there any restrictions? Because you didn't spend a lot of time there. You were supposed to go a little bit longer, but with the injury to Aaron Hicks, they called you up a little bit sooner. Any restrictions on how many days you can go in a row?
I haven't talked to him about that. I guess the last, couple weeks I've just been taking it day by day. So, happy to be in the lineup tonight. And, I guess we'll make that decision in the coming days.
Well, best of luck this evening.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jacoby. Plenty more to come here on Picks 11. When we get back, Michael Kay will be joined by John Flaherty in the booth.
Hyundai dealer, visit buyhyundai.com. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, more science, less fear. By Infinity, empower the drive. By Optimum, now with internet speeds up to 4 times faster. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your local tri-state Volkswagen dealers. That's a great day here in Chicago. So the Yankees start this 7-game road trip. There's 4 games here against the White Sox, who are not playing well. And then the team that's considered right now the best in baseball, 3 games against the Astros in Houston. So the Yankees will try to right their ship. The Yankees have lost 10 of 12. The White Sox have lost 3 straight and 6 of their last 7, and they are a season high 10 games under 500. Here's the Yankees starting lineup, brought to you by the Jeep Drive and Discover event. Brett Gardner's in left field. He'll lead off, batting second, and playing second, Starlin Castro. Aaron Judge, the right fielder, will hit third. Cleaning up the DH, Gary Sanchez. Tyler Austin, first baseman, bats fifth. Back in the lineup, the center fielder, Jacoby Ellsbury, off the concussion DL. Chase Headley at third base will bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Austin Romine. And the shortstop, Ronald Torreyes, just a day off for Didi, will bat ninth.
Well, manager Joe Girardi going to send that lineup out against the lefty David Holmberg. He's in the middle of his warm-up tosses. He started in the bullpen, has had 5 starts, 1-1, 2.84 ERA. We'll take a look at our pitcher scouting report, which is brought to you by Honda. He is a soft-throwing lefty, averages about 88 miles an hour. And I mentioned started out in AAA, then went to the bullpen, and now into the rotation because of all of the injuries. This will be his 6th start, and he only averages about 4 1/3 innings per start. That is the lowest in the American League.
Now let's take a look at the defense behind him, and it's brought to you by your local Ford dealers. You've got Melky Cabrera in left, you've got Engel in center, and Garcia in right. In the infield, it's Frazier, Anderson, Sanchez, and Davidson. third to first. Smith behind the plate. And John told you about Holmberg on the mound. Joe Girardi is ready to see his team reverse its fortunes. Tough loss yesterday, but he also pointed to that loss to say they're not down. He said they're angry the way they're playing, but a team that's down would not fight back in the game they were trailing 7-0 and lose the game 7-6. So he doesn't feel awful about his team. He'd like them to start winning, and they feel the same way, but they are not hanging their heads.
No, they're playing hard. They're playing all the way to the end, but the starting pitching is kind of putting them in a hole, and that's the one area that really has to straighten itself out before the Yankees get going again.
All right, so Brett Gardner did not have a good homestand. 3 hits and 20 at-bats, but he had a huge home run on Friday that gave the Yankees their lone victory against the Rangers. Gardner's ready. Holmberg is ready. Let's do it here in Chicago. First pitch is a strike, and we're underway. Greg Gibson, the home plate umpire. Jim Wolf at first. DJ Rayburn at second, and Sam Holbrook is over third. Yankees coming at 40-33, and the White Sox 32-42. Fly ball, right center, coming over Garcia, and he makes the play.
We're going to look at the keys to the game, which are brought to you by the Hyundai 4th of July sales event. And Montgomery's curveball is going to be a big pitch against this right-hand dominant lineup for the Chicago White Sox. And then I think taking advantage of Holmberg, he only throws 4 1/3 innings, so when he doesn't throw real hard, if you're the Yankees, you'd love to do some damage against him early on. The bullpen is pretty good for the White Sox. And then obviously get the ball to Dellin Betances. Whenever you find a way to get him the baseball, you feel good about your chances to win.
Here's Starlin Castro, 4 for 20 on the Yankee homestand. And he hits a ground ball to short. Anderson's there. 2 quick outs.
You see Holmberg working out of the stretch as Aaron Judge comes up to the plate, and pretty much a 4-pitch mix. Fastball, change, slider, curveball.
Well, here's Judge. Despite the Yankees' losses of late, he continues to be a force. He has a 7-game hitting streak, and he's also reached base safely in 27 straight games. The only major leaguer with a longer active streak is Eduardo Nunez of the Giants with 30 games straight. One 1-0. Aaron Judge also has a .440 on base percentage, which is tops in the American League. 1-1.
Well, there's that changeup from Holmberg, about 82 miles an hour. Throws his fastball 88, 89, so not a whole lot of separation from fastball to changeup.
I took BP today, and he just crushed the ball onto the concourse, and you just don't hit it there. That's where all the White Sox statues are. Puts on a BP show. 3-1.
You know what, Michael? He puts on a BP show as far as distance, but also it's a disciplined batting practice. It's middle of the field the other way and driving the ball out of the ballpark. And then if he gets ahead of one, he pulls it to where he hit it. We just showed the highlight of it, but it's a disciplined batting practice.
And he's disciplined at the plate as he works a walk. So here's Gary Sanchez. Tonight's Power Report is furnished by Bob's. Everything's better with a Bob-O-Pedic. Find out why at mybobs.com. Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez in the American League. They are tied with George Springer and Mike Zunino with 9 home runs in the month of June. Man on first, 2 outs. Sanchez, 5-game hitting streak, 7 for 18 on the homestand. 2-0.
Matt Holliday out of the lineup again today. Sanchez gets the opportunity to be the DH for Joe Girardi.
Holliday still feeling the effects of some kind of allergic reaction. They had him go to the doctor and take more tests today. And they're not quite sure what it is as Smith goes out and talks with Holmberg. Joe Girardi tried to explain it, said he feels tired, he feels fatigued. When he woke up today, he felt much better, and then once the day got going, he started to feel the same effects, so he does not know what it is. Yankees aren't quite certain, so he was sent for more tests. That's the last we heard. See if they get the green light, and there's a strike, 3-1.
I think the Yankees' approach against the soft-throwing lefties, look out over the plate. He doesn't have a whole lot of velocity to beat you inside. And Gary Sanchez, I'm hunting maybe a fastball changeup out over the plate, try to do some damage.
Well, Holmberg got the first 2 outs on 3 pitches. And now he's thrown 10 pitches trying to get that 3rd out. So Judge will go on the 3-2 2 outs. And another walk. 2 straight 2-out walks, and that brings up Tyler Austin. Well, we mentioned in the open that the Yankees called up Rob Refsnyder again. And Joe was asked, would you use Refsnyder at first base every now and then? And he said, no, that's not the plan. The plan is to play Tyler Austin every single day. So Holmberg threw 11 pitches to Judge and Sanchez, and they did not swing at one of them. And the lefty deals. Holmberg was drafted by the White Sox, then traded to Arizona with Daniel Hudson for Edwin Jackson in 2010, a year after he was drafted. So he's bounced around a bit, but back home. 1-1 on Austin. Tyler fractured his left ankle in February, was put on the 60-day DL. 27 games in a rehab assignment, hit 300, 4 home runs, and 12 ribbies. Boy, a lot of window shopping by the Yankees. 14 straight pitches without one being offered at.
Yeah, there's that big curveball that kind of comes around the plate for strike 2. See if Tyler Austin stays middle of the field the other way. That's where his strength is. Sometimes he gets a little bit too pull happy, and I think he's a guy who's going to benefit from being around Matt Holliday every day in the way he goes about his batting practice. Middle of the field the other way. Play to your strengths.
Grounded to third. Frazier fields and steps, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Yankees nothing, and the White Sox coming to bat. Stop leads off, batting second, former Yankee left fielder Melky Cabrera. Jose Abreu, DH, he's going to hit third. Avisail Garcia having a great season. He'll be in right field cleaning up. Batting fifth and playing third base, kid from New Jersey, Todd Frazier. Matt Davidson's at first base, he'll bat sixth. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Yolmer Sanchez. Kevin Smith will catch, and Adam Engel in center field will bat ninth.
Jordan Montgomery gets the baseball for the first game in this series against the White Sox, finishing up his warm-up tosses. The numbers are very good. 5-4, 3.74 ERA. Take a look at our pitcher scanner report brought to you by Honda. He is on a good 6-start stretch, 3-1 with a 2.55 ERA, and he has that swing and miss stuff that you love. Opponents swing and miss 13.2% of the time. That's third in the American League behind Chris Sale and Tanaka. And a right-handed lineup for the White Sox tonight against him. That's nothing new. About 87% of the opposing batters against Montgomery this year have been right-handed. Batting average 248 for righties and 162 for the left-handers.
So Anderson will dig in. 250 hitter. White Sox just got swept by Oakland. And Anderson fouls it off. Anderson was 0 for 8 in that series, and he's 2 for his last 17. Former first-round draft pick in 2013 by the White Sox. 23 years old.
You look at this lineup for the White Sox, and not bad with batting average, 5th in the league, but a lot of the other numbers, the home runs, the runs scored, about 12th in the American League, so not getting the job done offensively. Is Melky Cabrera getting ready to hit from the right side?
Right back to Montgomery. He boots it, and Anderson will reach.
Well, it's not the way you want to start it out. He made a good pitch, Montgomery did, and then just whiffs on it. Should have been an easy play, an easy out. Now you have to worry about Anderson and his 5 stolen bases, taking his lead off of first.
That scored an E1. Here's Melky Cabrera. Grounded to third. Nice play by Headley. Goes to second, one, and that's all they'll get. Superb play by Chase Headley. Took a double away from Cabrera.
Well, Headley starting to swing the bat a little bit better, and a nice defensive play going to his right. The accurate throw over to Castro, and Castro kind of taking his time. Definitely could have acted like a first baseman there, stretching to make sure he gets his play. Looks like he's clearly out. A very casual play by Starlin Castro.
Here's Jose Abreu, a .391 hitter against left-handed pitchers. And the guy behind him, Garcia, .455 against left-handed pitching. In fact, the White Sox are much better against lefty starters than righty starters. They're 13-8 in games started by left-handed starters, and against right-handers, they're 19-34. One and one. This is a total rebuild by the White Sox. They're breaking it down and trying to put it all back together again. And because of that, except for a select few, like the guy on deck, Garcia, there is a for sale sign on every single one of these players. You make an offer, you might get them. And John, they proved that when they traded Chris Sale. So they've got some desirable players, and if you make the right offer, you can get them.
Well, I was just thinking there are definitely some players that could fit it on a championship club, right? David Robertson would be a first name that would come to my mind, would help any bullpen in the big leagues. Melky Cabrera is a good player. Frazier struggling a little bit at third.
That's a Baltimore chopper, and Castro can't make the play. That's going to be a base hit. That would have been a tough play even if he made the play. It is a hit.
Jordan Montgomery, you got to be thinking with Joe Girardi, you got to be kidding me. I mean, he's made some good pitches here in the first inning, has one out, and a nice defensive play from Headley. Castro, the only chance, trying to go for the bare head. He doesn't come up with it clean. It's going to be an infield hit. Montgomery throwing the ball pretty good here in the first, and it's first and second, only one out.
Here is Abasael Garcia. 331 average, which is 6th best in the American League. He has 51 ribbies. Crowds the plate. Told that Garcia's actually moved up to 2nd in batting average, right behind Aaron Judge. Austin Romine goes out and talks with Jordan Montgomery, and here it is. So Judge, after walking, obviously his average not affected, 332. Then Garcia, Dickerson, Ramirez, and Altuve.
Really having a career year to this point. I mean, his major league batting average was 258 coming into this year. He's definitely figured it out.
Now, the hallmark of this team, managed by Rick Renteria, is they hustle. And Renteria demands that you run hard to first base every single time. And if you don't, he will take you out of the game. Right there. He's done it 3 times already this year. He said, asking you to run hard is not asking you that much. So he's trying to instill that in this ball club. Renteria took over for Robin Ventura as manager during the offseason. Grounded to short. Torres, 1 on to first. It's a double play. So Montgomery gets out of trouble. No run to hit, 1 error, and 1 man left. And the Yankees take on Milwaukee in an interleague matchup. It's Yankees Beach Towel night, and the first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a Yankees Beach Towel courtesy of Delta Airlines. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. So here he is, Jacoby Ellsbury. Ran into the wall at the stadium on May 24th in a game against Kansas City. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Anderson's there, makes the play, 1 pitch, 1 out. Only a couple of games of rehab, John, so obviously, I mean, the Yankees aren't ducking it, they rushed them. With Aaron Hicks going on the DL, they're short outfielders, and they need Jacoby Ellsbury back, so they figure, hey, you know, he was hot when he left, and he's swinging the bat pretty well in the 2 games. Let's bring him up.
Yeah, obviously you would have wanted him to get a lot more bats. They don't have that luxury. But he got a couple of hits down there, feels good physically, so you're going to run him out there, and hopefully he'll find his timing sooner rather than later.
Well, Chase Headley has found his timing. Who's Hot is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Last 9 games, 12 for 29, that's 414. 3 extra base hits and 6 runs batted in. Boys had a topsy-turvy roller coaster year. Hit 301 in April, 165 in May, and hitting 308 here in June, where he's 20 for 65. Booted by Frazier, recovers, fires, got him. There's Austin Romine. There's a strike. One, 1 and 2. And the pitch. Strike 3. Romine down looking. A 1-2-3 inning for Holmberg as he retires the Yankees on just 8 pitches. We'll go to the bottom of the 2nd. 0-0 on Pix 11. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Gardner, Ellsbury, and Judge in the outfield. That's left to right. Infield, it's Headley, Torreyes, Castro, and Austin. That's third to first. Romine's behind the plate. Montgomery is on the mound. Todd Frazier digs in against Montgomery. And the pitch is high. Driven out to left field and deep. Turning and looking is Gardner. See ya. Home run, Frazier, 1-0 White Sox.
Well, Michael, you were talking about the Chicago White Sox having some pieces that some other clubs might be interested in. You look at Frazier, his numbers are down, but he gets something down the middle, probably a two-seam fastball, and gets some good extension, home run number 13. Start thinking if he can get hot here at the end of June into July, he might be a valuable piece for a club to look forward to. Third baseman with some power.
Here's Matt Davidson. He plays third. Today he's playing first. He has 17 home runs. Now he can hit. But can he play the field? Frazier obviously really beating him up in the dugout for his 13th home run. Frazier is at third, so they're trying Davidson at first, and it causes a little bit of a conundrum, John, because Abreu really wants to play the field. So they've got to mix and match just to get Davidson's 17 home run bat into the lineup.
Yeah, they're trying to find a way to see where his future is, but the future is at the plate. 17 bombs already.
Fly ball, center field, fairly deep, backing up Ellsbury, and he'll make the play. One away.
Boy, it's amazing. You're Joe Girardi in your club. You've been struggling lately, losing 10 out of your last 12, and even a solo home run feels deflating in the second inning when you get off to a slow start, and it really shouldn't be. When you're a good club, you find a way to fight back. When you're losing 10 out of 12, the little things feel a whole lot bigger.
There's a strike to Sanchez. And 2. And he goes down on strikes. Romine gets an angle and fires to first. Strikeout, put out 2-3.
The curveball has really been the plus pitch for Montgomery this year, picking up a lot of his strikeouts on that big 12-6 breaker. And in the open, we showed the highlights from his last time out against the Angels. A lot of pitches like this down in the dirt. Good curveball, like a slurvy action on that for his first strikeout of the evening. Well, you break down Montgomery, the two-seam fastball about 22.3% of the time. Curveball is right behind it, changeup right behind that, and then the four-seamer and the occasional slider at 15.2%. Nice mix for Larry Rothschild to watch and Austin Romine to call. Wonder if some point maybe he just concentrates on one breaking ball instead of the curveball slider. That curveball has been devastating this year. Probably a better pitch further along than the slider. The fastball, changeup, curveball combination should be there every night for Montgomery.
Still 2-2. Smith, a .255 hitter overall, .314 at guaranteed rate field. Soft ground ball, right side, Castro. Gets Smith, and that'll do it. So Montgomery bounces back from the leadoff home run by Todd Frazier. He went yard, his 13th of the year. We'll go to the third. White Sox 1, and the Yankees nothing. CheapoAir.com. Go to pix11.com/team travel for great deals on Yankee away games. 3 more here in Chicago, all the same start times. Then 3 in Houston against the Astros. Yankees return home for 3-game set against Toronto. Thursday's an off day. And then the Milwaukee Brewers, so surprising this year, they'll have a 3-game weekend set at the stadium. Now we go to the third inning, and Ronald Torreyes will lead off. Right on top of the plate. And he rips one past a diving Frazier and down the left field line. Torreyes makes the turn. He'll go to second. The throw from Melky. Got him. Well, Cabrera's always had a pretty good arm. The Yankees are checking their replay now, see if they will challenge.
Hey, you're right, Michael. Melky has always had a strong throwing arm and an accurate throwing arm. Bench coach Robbie Thompson on the phone. See if they want to challenge this. I think Torreyes had it beat. I think he came off the bag. The throw accurate. Yep, he comes off the bag right there. Tag was applied. Right, Torreyes just keeps doing his thing. First pitch fastball, hammers it to left field. He beats it. But the hand comes off. The tag was applied. Pretty easy call.
Well, the Yankees did challenge it, though. I guess the question I'd have, John, the hand came off, but did the glove disconnect with the hand when it came off? The play under review is brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. I mean, that's the only question.
I mean, it looked pretty clear cut to me, right?
I thought there might have been a disconnect just for a sec. And That's what they have to look at. We'll see right here. And so he touches the bag. Now he comes off the bag, and the glove's not touching the hand at that point. And then he gets back. And they do not overturn it. So the Yankees lose their challenge. And the PA system playing Let It Be, and they took the Beatles' advice. Right there.
Right there.
Right there. It's off. All right. So the Yankees had their first hit against Holmberg, but quickly erased. Back to the top of the order, and Brett Gardner. You know, the odd thing about that challenge is you've got to be fairly certain to use your challenge there in the third inning. Otherwise, that challenge is gone now. And I mean, there might be a big-time play coming up.
I mean, the Yankees have done such a good job with the challenge system this year, and ever since it's been put into play. And you're right. I mean, just seeing that right away, it seemed pretty clear that Torres was going to be out. So a little surprising they chose to try to challenge it. Didn't work out.
1-2 on Gardner.
Just thinking back to Torres, though, Michael, it's his second home run of the year yesterday. Just such a valuable guy. Gives Didi a night off tonight. Playing shortstop, picks up a hit, gets thrown out at second, but valuable utility guy for Joe Girardi.
Down on strikes, 2 away.
Holmberg looking good early on. I mentioned only averaging 4 1/3 inning in his starts, but a pretty good breaking ball right there to Gardner. Pitch count in great shape at 32 with 2 outs in the third. I never asked you after the game yesterday. Paul O'Neill's calf made it okay through the broadcasting.
You know, he said he was okay, John. That he had heard it running on a treadmill the day before, and then he made a catch in the outfield and just felt it tug a little bit. And he wanted to play a Mariano Rivera's golf tournament today and didn't want to blow it up.
That was clearly the most important part.
Yep. So he told Gene Michael, maybe I better not push this, and took him out. And he was actually in our injury report yesterday. 1-1 on Castro. Castro set out yesterday. They gave him a cortisone shot in his wrist. And Girardi said he's okay. He could have played, but he was due for a day off, and we thought we'd get it out of there. But it's been bothering him for a while, and he's been fine. Just a soreness in his wrist. He's at .314 with 12 homers and 45 ribbies. And, John, he would probably love to go to Miami and be in the All-Star game.
Well, he's having that type of year. What is he, second behind Altuve in the voting?
Yep.
As we speak.
3-1 on Castro.
You watch Holmberg and the way he attacks right-handed batters. I mean, he's throwing fastballs inside. He caught Austin Romine looking. He doesn't throw real hard, 88, 89 miles an hour, but he definitely pitches in for a soft-throwing lefty.
Slow roller to third. Barehanded by Frazier. Throws to first. They got him. And Castro just pulled up. And you wonder, is he hurt now? Because he did not run hard for the bag. We'll know when we get back. Baseball is brought to you by your Tri-State BMW Centers, BMW, the ultimate driving machine, and by CheapoAir.com. Go to Pix11.com/team travel for great deals on Yankee away games. And by Fios. Fios is not cable, we're wired differently. Visit GetFios.com. And by Honda and your local Honda dealer. Well, as we suspected, Castro has to leave the game. And you'll see here, he pulls up right away. And you see Didi get up right away, but Didi is not the one who comes into the game. We told you Ref Snyder was called up today, so Ref Snyder takes over at second.
And another look at Castro getting down the line, gets out of the box in pretty good shape, and then all of a sudden something grabs, and he pulls up. Rob Ref Snyder in the game. The hits just keep on coming, huh?
Wow. You know, for so long, the first month and a half, everything that could go right went right. Now, things that can go wrong are going wrong. Grounded to Headley. Go to first. They get Engel for the first out. That's a big bat for Girardi to lose. I just told you he's having an all-star type of year. And who knows if he'll have to go on the DL. We'll find out soon enough.
Playing with a short bench already. Right now you got Holiday, who's having trouble. Didi's healthy, but you wanted to give him a day off against a lefty. Ref Snyder in the game.
And when Joe spoke before the game, John, he said, I don't know if we have Holiday today. You know, he's not in the starting lineup. He's the type that if he was able to go, he'd be in the starting lineup. So I don't know if he'll get better during the game, what the deal is, but he's not sure he had him. Lined into left field, it's a base hit. Gardner will get the ball in, and Anderson picks up a single with one out.
Well, Anderson gets ahead in the count and just hunts something up in the zone. Looked like a two-seamer, middle of the plate. Montgomery pitching to contact, hoping to get a line ball, a ground ball, just a little bit elevated. Ends up being a line drive, and Stevie Donahue delivering the bad news to Joe Girardi. Joe doesn't look real happy.
Now, wasn't a lot of smiling when he met with the media before the game. He wasn't angry, but you know, he certainly wasn't in a jovial mood. And you know, he and Donahue, who certainly they're friends, they've talked a little bit too much for a manager and an athletic trainer. I mean, when your team's lost 10 or 12, you don't need more bad news.
Saw Montgomery paying attention to Anderson at first base. He does have 5 stolen bases, has not been thrown out yet. Running game not a huge part of the Chicago White Sox, only 28 on the year. It's 12th in the American League.
Throws over. Last 8 games against the Yankees, Melky is 9 for 29. That's .310. Cabrera also could be an interesting get for a team in contention. Switch hitter, pretty good outfielder. And he can hit. Now you can say, well, he had that PED suspension. That was 6 years ago. And certainly other people have gone on to contracts that have had that situation in their past. So we'll see if they deal him. There's a base hit through the left side. Anderson stops at second. Gardner flips the ball in.
Well, Jordan Montgomery was able to get that big double play in the first inning to get out of some trouble. Then the solo home run in the second. Here in the third, first and second, 1 out. The best run producer on the Chicago White Sox, Jose Abreu, up at the plate with his 47 RBIs.
Snyder shades him up the middle. Austin way off the line at first. Big, strong right-handed batter, but a slow rolling single to second base in the first. Gardner makes the play on this one for the second out, so a big out, but it doesn't get easier as Rafael Garcia comes up.
It was a changeup that got Garcia to hit into that 6-4-3 double play to end the first inning, and a changeup right there to Abreu to get that weak fly ball.
Garcia wrapped into a double play in the first inning. First and second, 2 outs. White Sox lead 1-0 on the Todd Frazier home run. Frazier's on deck. Garcia, .347 this year with runners in scoring position. 6 homers and 42 ribbies. Along with John Flaherty and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay, and we thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us right here on Pix 11. Yankees and the White Sox, bottom of the third inning, first game of a 4-game set from the second city. It's 1-0 Sox on the Frazier home run. Montgomery caught out of the corner of his eye. Well, it was right in front of him. Melky Cabrera just looked like he was going to take off. He couldn't go anywhere because Anderson's on second base.
And you can see he doesn't have much of a lead, but he started to do a little sprint towards second base, and Montgomery's stepped off the mound.
And he did it again. Like he's trying to toy with the Yankee rookie.
One way to get a secondary lead. Different approach from Melky, having a little bit of fun over there.
One and two. Although, John, you've seen him. He doesn't seem like the type of kid that gets rattled. He's almost flatline when he pitches.
Yeah, I think that's what you appreciate about a youngster. When things get going fast in a ball game, Montgomery seems to be able to slow it all down. He's got so many weapons right here to Garcia. Well, heading to count 1 and 2, you could bounce a breaking ball like he just did. You could try to move him off the plate inside, and then obviously come back with a changeup later on. But if you're Montgomery right here, yeah, it's first and second, 2 outs. Worry about the man at the plate who's having an unbelievable year.
Romine wants to go out and make sure they're on the same page.
Nothing wrong with this.
This chiropractic telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. One-two, swing and a miss, and they get Garcia, and that will do it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left. We've played 3. It's 1-0 Chicago. Presented by your Tri-Honda dealer. As the trade deadline nears, what should the Yankees go for? Hitting or pitching? Go to pix11.com/vote. Aaron Judge leads off against David Holmberg. Outside, Judge walked in the first inning.
Watch Aaron Judge come up to the plate, and a lot of pitchers have tried to pitch him inside, but Aaron's so far off the plate, it's tough to get a strike in there. And one of the great parts of Old Timers Day, Michael, you get to sit and kind of break down the game with some of the guys in the clubhouse after the actual Old Timers Day. We're having a couple of sodas with Tino Martinez, Scott Kamenicki, Jeff Nelson, and Tanyan Sturtz, and they said the biggest difference they see in today's game is pitchers can't get strikes inside. So they have to throw everything out over the plate, and a guy like Aaron Judge just kills the ball away from him. And they all seem to agree that it'd be a tough time to pitch right now and a great time to hit because of the umpires not calling strikes on the inside corner. And Aaron Judge, he just looks out over the plate, trusting that umpires aren't going to call a strike inside, and he just hammers the ball middle of the field the other way.
And he gets walked a lot. So he came in the game with the #1 on-base percentage in the American League at .440, and now it's gone up with the 2 walks. Judge and Sanchez so far seen 16 pitches and just 1 swing. Now 17, just 1 swing. So you guys were having sodas?
A couple of adult sodas.
Okay. Must have had a lot of interesting things to talk about.
It's great seeing all the guys obviously and playing in the game, but it's the breaking it down afterwards in the clubhouse, and the perspective of some of the guys who aren't around the game every day just watching. Like Tino was talking about how if he was a hitter now, he would just look out over the plate, not worry about the inside half. And obviously, it would make your life so much easier. A guy like Aaron Judge is taking advantage of it. All of the pitchers said that they would not want that electronic strike zone, or taking the umpire away, like they're talking about. I was kind of surprised. They enjoyed the human element of working an umpire, figuring out where he was going to call a pitch off the plate or maybe in on that particular night. So the modern technology, some of the older pitchers aren't really into it.
And it seems like today's players really want it. But you will not get that pitch just off the corner.
No. You would have to throw the ball over the plate.
Two. Still 2-2. Now, do they think that you're not throwing inside because they're afraid to hit people?
No, they thought that they're not pitching inside because they're not getting strikes. So basically what you're doing is wasting 1 or 2 pitches, knowing that an umpire is not going to call it on the inside corner. So you're going to have to go back out eventually. But, Scott Kamenicki had an interesting take. He said he seems like there's more high strikes now than when he pitched, which he said would have killed him. He had to live at the bottom of the strike zone.
2-2. Fouled away.
And they're from Holmberg right there, trying to go inside to get strike 3, and he left it out over the plate, and Gary Sanchez probably had a pitch he could have done some damage with right there. 2-2, trying to go in and get the strike on the inside corner. It's left out over the plate, and Holmberg lucky that was fouled off.
Sanchez continuing to battle. Jorge Posada spoke about the guy at the plate. He said, if you hit like that, he said, you're going to be a star catcher in the game for a long time. And Jorge was a very good hitting catcher as well.
Did it surprise you Jorge went behind the plate yesterday for 2 innings? I was shocked. And I want to put it down on record. Jorge Posada came up to me and said, is it okay if I go back behind the plate and catch?
Wow.
So a little reverse when I backed him up for 3 years, and now he was picked up for me.
Pretty cool, right?
I was shocked that he wanted to go back there and do it, but he seemed like he had a great time yesterday. Also came into the clubhouse with his own bats, a roll of tape, and pine tar, taping up his bats for Old Timers Day.
Wow.
That's how excited he was to be there.
Grounded and knocked down by Frazier, and it trickles into left field. Judge aggressively will go to third, and he'll make it. Now, John, I wonder if there's a change in philosophy because Aaron Judge slid into third feet first.
First thing I noticed, and you notice things about Aaron's game, and first of all, the play is right in front of him, but he's an excellent base runner and kind of kicks it into another gear, and the slide, you're right, feet first. Holds on with his hand. Obviously, the play's in front of you. You don't need your third base coach, Joe Espada. Aggressive base running. Good slide to the outside part of the bag. Nice play.
That scored an E5 off the glove of Frazier. So the Yankees are set up first and third, nobody out. Here's Tyler Austin. Fly ball the other way. That'll get in a run. Garcia drifts back. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Judge. He'll score easily. Austin with a sac fly. And the Yankees and the White Sox are tied at 1. As you take a look at Aaron Judge, vote today, vote tomorrow, vote the Yankees for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at Yankees.com/vote. Catch all of the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 11th, live on Fox. New voting is in today, and Judge continuing to run away with it. Sano, Correa, Altuve, and Hosmer have the infield. Springer, Trout. Trout will be able to play with an injury. Sal Perez is behind the plate. I believe that the DH was Nelson Cruz.
The two youngsters talking it over. A nice job by Tyler Austin going the other way, sacrifice fly. You get the feeling that should be his approach, his swing day in and day out. I wonder if watching Aaron Judge go about his business, it might wear off on Austin.
Two and two on Ellsbury. Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. Sanchez will stop at second, so Ellsbury, out for about a month, comes back and gets a hit in the second at bat.
Well, he was aggressive his first at bat, swinging at the first pitch he saw, and then he kind of hung in there here. A little fastball down and away, stays right on it. Drives it right back up the middle, and Holmberg, who had been cruising for a couple of innings now, the pitch count elevated a little bit. I told you, he only averages just over 4 innings per start. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, going to go out and have a talk. And usually the pitch count for Holmberg somewhere between 70 and 77. The Yankees trying to get to him here in the fourth.
Now, John, Ellsbury technically now has the longest hitting streak in baseball by a lot. When he got hurt, he had a 9-game hitting streak. It stayed alive while he was on the concussion DL, and now it goes to 10. So in terms of calendar days, longest in the big leagues. So Cooper finishes his visit, and here is Headley. Now Judge, when he scored that run, scored for the 67th time this year. The most by any other rookie is 45 by Cody Bellinger of the Dodgers. Base hit, left field. Sanchez rounds third. They're sending him home. He'll score without a throw. An RBI single for Headley. 2-1 Yanks.
Holmberg having a little trouble second time through the lineup. See Headley get something off speed down and just rakes it off the ground right over the shortstop's head. Sanchez had to hesitate just for a minute. Was able to score easily.
Here's Austin Romine. Struck out looking in the second. lot of windmilling out in the White Sox bullpen, but no throwing.
The White Sox bullpen, they know when Holmberg is out there, it's usually about a 4-inning start, 4 to 5. So we're starting to go through their routine right now. Pitch count will be at 60.
Well, the White Sox in their last 30 games have had just 7 quality starts, and that's just 6 innings of 3 runs or fewer. Just 7. And over the last 10 years, Don Cooper's had more quality starts out of his pitchers than any other team. So even he hasn't been able to solve this. And the fewer innings your starters go, the more it's going to eventually affect the bullpen.
It's only a matter of time, right, before that bullpen really struggles. And you see the numbers for the White Sox starters. Not very pretty. Averaging only 5 1/3 per start.
And Sanchez comes talks with Holmberg. And still nobody throwing in the White Sox bullpen. A lot of calisthenics. Like a yoga class out there. Three and two.
Kind of surprise right there. Austin Romine hits the ball right field so well. Like he was trying to pull that pitch that was on the outer half. See if he makes an adjustment right here. He's got a big hole between first and second. Stay away from that ground ball to short.
And he walks. Romine wasn't so sure. He just stood there and wanted to make sure that it was ball 4. Gibson didn't raise the arm. Now the bases are loaded for Torreyes. If the White Sox watch any video at all, it's folly to try to throw a fastball on the first pitch to Torreyes. He clubbed one past Frazier in the 3rd inning and got caught trying to stretch it into a double. But you're not getting a fastball by this guy. He's ready for it and wants to jump on it. It's not up there to work the count. Didn't throw the fastball. Fly ball center field. Engel makes the catch. Here comes Ellsbury. The throw is up the line. Now they have Headley in a rundown. He'll be tagged out. It's a sac fly for Torreyes. Ellsbury scores, and the Yankees lead 3-1. Action presented by your Tri-Honda dealers. Over 40,000 votes, and overwhelmingly over 70%, John, said that the Yankees should try to acquire pitching rather than hitting.
Makes sense.
Can never have enough pitching, as they say. Strange inning for the Yankees in the top of the fourth. 2 walks, an error, 2 sac flies, and 2 unearned runs. And if you are keeping score at home, it's a sac fly for Torreyes, and Headley is out in the rundown. 8-3-5-6. 8-3-5-6.
Now, we always know Brian Cashman is looking to improve his club. I mean, at any time during any year. But do you think the Yankees are going to be active at the deadline?
My personal opinion is it will come right down to the end to see if they declare themselves. And that's a big phrase with Brian. So if they're there and he thinks there's something that he's not going to get held up on, but I don't think they're going to empty the farm system.
No, I agree with you. Work too hard to bring in all these prospects.
1-2 to Frazier. Swing and a miss. Romine gets an angle, so it's a strikeout, put out 2-3. Well, next month will tell the tale. Yankees and the Red Sox essentially tied. The Yankees are percentage points ahead. Red Sox are leading in the bottom of the 7, 2-1 over the Twins. The Rays just picked up a really fine shortstop in Echeverria from the Marlins, and then you've got the Orioles and the Blue Jays right there. Echeverria can pick it with anybody. Tampa Bay surprising me a bit, John.
I agree with you. I look at their record, couple of games over 500, and they're thinking they got a chance to make some noise in the division, making a move, an early move today.
0-2 on Matt Davidson.
This is what you love to see from Montgomery after you go out and score 3 in the top half of the 4th. Getting a quick strikeout of Frazier, now ahead in the count. 0-2 on Davidson, and the curveball looks like it's going to be a factor tonight.
Davidson down on strikes. Around the Majors is brought to you by Lexus. Experience amazing. So Adeiny Echeverria will go to the Rays, and the Rays send outfielder Braxton Lee and right-handed pitcher Ethan Clark, both out of their minor league system, to the Marlins. Also, we get word on Starlin Castro. He has a right hamstring strain. Now, what kind of grade strain? That we don't know, and that will dictate how long he will be out and whether or not that put him on the DL. Castro has played 73 of 74 games for the Yankees this season. Yesterday, the only game he missed.
I mean, with the 10-day DL now instead of the 15-day DL like it was in the past, I mean, it almost makes sense, right, to put him on the disabled list. Obviously, we don't know how bad the strain is, as Rob Refsnyder had to take over.
How about that? Nice inning from Montgomery. He strikes out the side. In fact, he has struck out 4 in a row. We'll go to the 5th. on Yes as the series with the White Sox continues. Coverage starts at 7 with outing batting practice today in the Chevy Yankees pregame. Plus Wednesday night after the postgame, don't miss an all-new episode of the series we're really proud of. Homegrown, The Path to Pinstripes. Only on Yes. We go to the 5th inning. It's 3-1 Yankees. It's top of the Yankee order against Holmberg. It'll be Gardner, Refsnyder, and Judge. High fly ball, right field, long run for Garcia. He can't get there.
Long way to run, but also a tough time of night right here to pick up fly balls. Kind of that in between where the lights really haven't taken over yet. Garcia had a good look at that one. He runs out of room, a little bit timid going into that corner. Here's a look at the sky. This is a tough time of the night for some pop-ups and fly balls.
Gardner with a fly ball and a strikeout. He's 3 for his last 22. Rip foul. Fly ball deep center. Angle on the run. He's there and he makes the play. He just ran right to a spot and then turned around and the ball was there. They like the way he plays center field.
He made that look easy. Brett Gardner hitting this ball right on the nose and has nothing to show for it. Good look at the route that Michael's talking about. Very direct right to the baseball. Easy play for Engel.
So here's Rob Refsnyder. His first at bat. Castro hurt himself trying to beat out a ground ball at third. And now the Yankees just have to cross their fingers that it is not a lengthy absence. There's a strike.
Well, this is in the 3rd inning. Castro, the ground ball, trying to beat out an infield hitter. The possibility of it. Feels that hamstring grab, and he pulls up.
Fly ball right field. Garcia for the second out. And that's going to bring up Aaron Judge. Judge has walked twice. Don't you think it's pretty amazing, Johnny? Has 26 homers and 59 ribbies. And to this point in time, he does not expand the strike zone and get anxious. He'll take the walk.
I think he's found the exact plan that works, obviously. I mean, he made some adjustments to his stance, using his legs a little bit more, sitting on his back leg. But I think the approach at bat to at bat, again, we talked about it, out over the plate. You have to come to him, showing a lot of discipline.
We're talking with Steve Stone, who does the games on White Sox television, former Cy Young Award winner. and you see the walk situation, 49 leads the American League. And he said, I saw him play in the Arizona Fall League. He said, and he had holes in the swing that you could drive Mack trucks through. He said, it seems like he's a different person, a different ball player this year. He said, because you would never think that a player could plug up those type of holes. But Judge has done it. And there's Steve Stone. And Tino, in talking to him yesterday, he said it wasn't so much a change in swing. He thinks it's just a change in mentality and approach. As he grounds out to Holmberg, who has gone 5. Yankees go down in order at the end of 4.5. We're halfway through. Yankees up by 2. Byron, Marissa, and the rest of the Picks Morning News crew with all the news, weather, and traffic you need to start your day. Mornings from 5 to 9 on the Picks 11 Morning News, New York's very own. Now we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And the bottom of the order for the White Sox, 8, 9, and then 1. Kevin Smith starts it off, swings at the first pitch and fouls it away. So Montgomery has struck out the last 4 batters he's faced. He has 5 strikeouts in all.
That bottom of the 4th inning, Montgomery had it going. The 3 strikeouts, curveball was excellent. The changeup was there. Look at that pitch count at 56 pitches here starting off the 5th inning, so in good shape pitch count wise. And I mentioned in the scouting report, keys to the game, get the ball to Dellin Betances. I don't care how you have to do it. Whether Montgomery hands him the ball or one of the relievers, but I always feel good about the Betances-Chapman matchup at the end of a ball game. 16 balls, 41 strikes, outstanding for Jordan Montgomery. If you're Austin Romine right now, you have a pitcher who is locked in. You just want to get in a nice rhythm with him, put down the sign. So you got a left-hander who's feeling it right now.
Grounded to third, backhanded by Headley. He sets and fires. 1 away.
One of the things about Montgomery, if you're catching him like Romine is tonight, you have the 5 pitches, and you got to really stay aware if you're Austin Romine to keep all of them involved. I mean, the curveball changeup are so good that sometimes the slider is going to be forgotten about. Austin Romine calling a slider right there, getting the ground ball. If you're Romine, you know you have a good curveball, good changeup. You got to keep thinking about the other pitches, the 2-seamer and the slider.
Swing and a miss. Engel down on strikes.
Another thing, if you're catching Montgomery, you better be on top of your blocking balls in the dirt skills, like Austin Romine is tonight, because you're going to get plenty of them through the course of a baseball game. If you are late or you are lazy, you're going to be embarrassed because of this 12-6 break. Romine keeps it in front, easy play, gets an angle, another good throw, another strikeout for Montgomery.
And here's Tim Anderson. You know, a team can read a player, where he is in his life and where he's come from, and they could decide if they could sign him early and sign him inexpensively. And the White Sox certainly did that with Anderson. It's amazing that he signed a 6-year, $25 million deal at the end of March this year. So if he becomes what they think he's going to be unbelievably underpaid. Grounds one to Headley, and another 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Montgomery. He's retired 8 in a row. We go to the 6th, 3-1 Yanks. When the Yankees beat the White Sox right here in Chicago and right here on Pix 11. New York's home for baseball. Well, Holmberg has thrown 79 pitches, which is a season high, and the White Sox bullpen is totally quiet as he deals a strike to Gary Sanchez. This ballpark opened up in 1991. It opened up a year before Camden Yards. And it has had 3 names. The new Comiskey, that was the first, because it replaced the ballpark across the street, which was Comiskey Park. Then it became U.S. Cellular Field, the title sponsor of the ballpark. And this past offseason, they changed the name to Guaranteed Rate Field. And a lot of people and a lot of White Sox fans got upset, John, because the logo is an arrow pointing down. And they just felt that that was bad karma. And the White Sox said, well, they're paying us a lot of money, and that's the name of the field. And I guess if you want a mortgage rate, you need it to be low. Fly ball to right field. Garcia is there. I've always wondered what the line was, John. Like, there are some products that sometimes you can't talk about in mixed company. What if they came up with the most money to name a ballpark after that product.
You would have a tough decision,
Yeah.
but if you're a bottom line type of a man, right, and an owner,
Yeah.
the bottom line usually wins out.
Be interesting. Austin cracks one to left field. That ball is gone. See ya. A bullet into the bullpen in left field. And the Yankees lead 4-1.
Well, Joe Girardi said Tyler Austin's going to get his opportunity to play first base. He's going to get his at-bats. You think back to his last at-bat, he did sacrifice fly to right field, and I was mentioning that's the approach he should have. Here it just looked like he reacted to a ball on the inner half, and his hands just took over a rocket to that bullpen out in left field. First home run of the year for Tyler.
That one is dropped and dropped again, so Ellsbury will reach. That'll be an E1. Montgomery has an error now. Holmberg has an error.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why the White Sox have been struggling lately and struggling this year, and one of them is fielding percentage. 14th in the American League. This is just an easy play. Holmberg butchered. Wow. This is a gift.
Here's Chase Headley. Picked up an RBI single. His last time up, so he's 1 for 2. Last 14 games, now the 15th for Headley. He's 18 for 48. Very streaky. For Austin, a sac fly and a home run, so 2 runs batted in for the youngster. We told you the month by month, 301 in April. Remember, even before the end of April, he was way up there, about 400. That came down, then continued in May, and June's been much better for him.
Watching Jacoby Ellsbury take his lead off of first base, you wonder how long the running game will take to come back. Obviously missing all that time, about a month, only a couple of rehab games. Those 8 stolen bases on the year has been thrown out twice. Fouled away. See what Joe Girardi's thinking here with Ellsbury and his speed at first base. You're trusting Headley to put this ball in play. 3-2. See if Ellsbury's going to be on the move.
Fly ball, right center, Angle on the run. On the track, at the wall, and he can't make the play. Ellsbury will stop at third, Headley's at second. He just missed a home run, and he gets a double with 1 out.
Headley's hot hitting continues, grinding out an at-bat against a left-hander. And Engel goes a long way for this ball. Crashes into the wall trying to make an unbelievable play. Can't come up with it. Garcia is going to be able to back him up. We talked about how much range he has in center field. Showing it off right there. Just not able to finish off the play.
Well, that's going to do it for Holmberg, as Rick Renteria will come out and take the ball from his left-hander.
Of Starlin Castro's hamstring injury, and nothing is official. However, there are some interesting developments down on the farm. The Rail Riders are in Syracuse. Tyler Wade was in the lineup prior to the rain delay. They've just resumed play. Wade no longer in the lineup. Michael, definitely something to keep an eye on.
Interesting. That would be an interesting call by them. Infield is in for Austin Romine, and he takes inside from the new pitcher Juan Minaya. Manaya's 8th game. 15 strikeouts in 10 innings. Yankees lead 4-1. And down goes Romine.
Joe Girardi's got to be in the dugout like, you got to be kidding me, watching what's going on here. Castro leaving the game. Romine gets that front foot down early and fouls the ball right off of it. Great look from the side here, right over that ankle. He has that protective sleeve a little bit higher up on the leg. Looks like Austin's going to be all right. Minaya with a big arm, just got recalled from AAA Charlotte before the game today.
Second and third, one out, one run in. The Yankees lead 4-1, top of the sixth, beginning of a 4-game set. Checks Headley back.
And Todd Frazier's going to go have a talk, and you see Austin Romine, the .359 average, runners in scoring position since 2016. One of those, if you're a young pitcher, Minaya, don't worry about the runner at second base, Chase Headley. Worry about Austin Romine at the plate.
Ellsbury off third, Headley off second. Two and one.
Talk about Austin Romine doing a good job blocking some baseball. Smith doing the same thing for the White Sox. The glove leads, the body follows. Made that look a lot easier than it actually was. You see Minaya with the big sweeping breaking ball, but not throwing it anywhere near the plate. See if Romine gets a fastball here. Got his pitch and he fouled it straight back. Good swing. Torreyes waiting on deck.
Check swing, slow roller foul. He broke his bat. We've been seeing this a lot, John. Were you a big go out and talk to the pitcher guy?
I mean, I would go out there obviously when I felt like it was necessary, and it looks like they're going to authenticate that bat, MLB. But it's the way the games are now. The pace of games are so slow. They're probably going to limit that, I would think, at some point.
Fly ball, center field. Engel will make the catch. Tagging is Ellsbury. He'll score easily. The throw comes to third, and it gets by Frazier. But Headley stays put. It's a sac fly for Romine, and it's 5-1 Yanks.
You're loving these at-bats from the bottom of the lineup for the Yankees. Headley with the double. Now the sac fly by Austin Romine. Good job kind of hanging in there, battling. Got jammed a little bit on this ball on the inner half. He's strong enough to muscle it to center field.
gets past Smith as Headley will go to third. Looks like he might have been crossed up.
He might have been crossed up, or also looked like a slider that kind of backed up a little bit. And we talked about Smith blocking the ball. You have to anticipate it in the dirt. And I think this just backed up on him. We're expecting it to go down and away, and it goes up and in right off of the glove. And the White Sox, I guess, true to form, sloppy game defensively. A couple of errors. Now that's probably going to be, it is a pass ball.
Foul back, 1-1. Ground ball is short. And they get to Reyes, and he dropped the ball. Davidson dropped the ball, so Headley will score. It'll be an E3, and it's a 6-1 Yankee lead. Very sloppy by the White Sox.
I talked about it earlier. 14th in the league in fielding percentage. Should be a routine play. Davidson playing first base, just drops the ball. I mean, that's a play that should be routine. It is routine. Yankees catch another break.
He made a costly error in yesterday's game that cost them what could have been a victory against the A's, turned into a loss. Here's Brett Gardner. One and oh.
You always worry about a young pitcher, and Minaya just gets called up for the second time this year to the big leagues. He made a pitch, should be out of the inning. Now he's got to worry about Brett Gardner with Torres on first. Sometimes a mental letdown for a young pitcher. We'll see how he reacts. Quickly falls behind 2-0.
The Yankees are kind of dinking and dunking for Jordan Montgomery. They scored 3 runs on sac flies and now 1 on an error. Long inning for Jordan Montgomery as he tries to stay loose.
I'm sure he'll try to run out there and maybe get a few more warm-up tosses.
This has been a 20-minute half inning, and it just got longer as Gardner walks. And Don Cooper will come out and talk with Minaya. Well, this is the growing pains of a team that is admittedly breaking it down. And you're going to see mistakes. You're going to see some errors. You're going to see struggling with the pitching. And then you have to hope for better days. And, you know, we've said it before, not that it needs to consistently get repeated. But a lot of teams have broken it down to rebuild. The Astros, the Cubs. I mean, long stretches of losing. That's why what the Yankees have done is kind of remarkable, where they never really had to bottom out and get that first or second pick in the first round to get better. So a lot of kudos have to go out to their front office. Certainly not a finished product, but they've surprised so far this year, and they think better days are even ahead in the next couple of years with the farm system brimming with talent. And the White Sox made the sort of deal the Yankees made last year, but during the offseason with Sale. where they got the top prospect in baseball in Yoan Moncada, amongst others, for Chris Sale. Top of the 9th inning at Fenway, and there's the trade. Boston leads Minnesota 4-1. Sale was for Moncada. Kopech throws about 103 miles an hour. Basabe and Diaz. And Carlos Rodon was just in rehab down at AAA and was raving about how good Moncada was. It was a big concern. Would he be able to play second? Would he be able to play second? Because defensively he was kind of shaky. They think as bad as Major League ready, but the talk is that he's done a really good job at second. Loop to second and caught by Sanchez as Ref Snyder is retired. Yankees scored 3 runs, and it started with this laser into the White Sox bullpen. Tyler Austin, his first home run of the year. And we'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees up 6-1. They're brought to you by Tri-State Volkswagen Dealers. It's a final now. Boston beat Minnesota 4-1. Real wild game in Cleveland. The Indians lead Texas 12-9, bottom of the 7th. Cubs 2-0 over the White Sox, bottom of the 8th. Top of the 1st, Colorado and San Francisco just began. Top of the 1st, the Angels and the Dodgers. Their freeway series, that one just began. So Montgomery, the 25-minute layoff, deals a ball to Melky Cabrera. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the White Sox order. And a strike. Melky reached on a fielder's choice and also singled to left. Yankees lead 6-1, bottom of the 6th inning.
Yeah, you hope Jordan Montgomery gets right back into that same groove after the 25-minute inning.
Grounded to third. And Headley makes the throw to get Cabrera.
Good sign from Montgomery there. Another good changeup. Easy ground ball to Headley. One quick out. You love how efficient he has been this evening here in Chicago. 69 pitches, 1 out in the 6th.
John, you got to give a lot of credit to the staff down in spring training for the Yankees. This kid went out, performed well in spring training, caught all of their eyes, but he wasn't on the 40-man roster. And because the Yankees have a farm system that is overflowing with talent, 40-man roster spots are gold. You don't give them out unless you have to give them out because of length of of minor league stay. And the coaches and the front office spoke and said, he can help us. We can use him in our rotation right now. And Brian Cashman and his staff made the room on the 40-man roster, and here he is. And his last 6 starts coming into tonight, 3-1 with a 2.55 ERA. So the Yankees made the room, and it's paying off.
You know, when I got down to spring training for the first time, there are the numbers over the last 6 starts, and Michael's talking about 2.55 ERA. Stump Merrill, the first person he told me about, he said, watch this left-hander Montgomery. They're having trouble picking up the baseball out of his hand. And you're right. I mean, to make that decision, put him on the 40-man. Who did they lose? Barbado? Was that the move? Not quite sure. I don't really remember.
Not sure.
But whatever, the move has paid off big time, as he has been one of their consistent starters all year, especially through his last 6 starts.
We're also talking earlier about the job that Austin Romine has done catching Jordan Montgomery. Joe Girardi told me before the game that he really likes the rapport the two of those guys have developed. He also mentioned that with a young pitcher in particular, it can be very beneficial to have them throw to the same guy every time out. It can really add to their comfort level. And the numbers really tell the truth. Romine has caught 7 of Montgomery's 14 starts. That includes tonight. He is 4-0 with Romine behind the plate with an ERA almost 2 runs lower.
Abreu picks up his 2nd hit of the night against Montgomery. Now, our very own colleague Jack Curry tweeting out that after Castro injured the hamstring, he's hearing that Tyler Wade will indeed be added to the 40-man roster and will join the Yankees in Chicago tomorrow. So there's been a lot of excitement about Wade. He's having one of the best seasons down there right now. And because he wasn't on the 40, it would take something like this to force their hand. So you'll have another infusion of some of the Yankee youth tomorrow. And this is what he's done in 70 games at Scranton. 313, 24 extra base hits, 25 ribbies, 59 runs scored, and he can run. 24 stolen bases, and he can play second, short, third, moving him around.
Kind of all over,
yeah.
Right? Like we saw in spring training. Tyler Wade, one of the players who opened up our eyes down in Tampa, now going to get his first shot.
Garcia, high fly ball, right center. Ellsbury's there to make the play for the 2nd out.
Yeah, the changeup has been such a good pitch for Montgomery, but not a good one right there to a dangerous hitter. And Austin Romine right out to the mound to make sure they don't throw this one again. Up in the zone, elevated, kind of got away with the mistake, and Austin Romine not going to wait around. Go out to his young lefty and make sure they get back on the same page.
Here's Todd Frazier, the only blemish on the ledger of Montgomery. A leadoff home run in the 2nd. 1-0.
Montgomery has gotten 2 outs here in the 6th inning, but his stuff's kind of all over the place after that 25-minute top half of the inning. Doesn't look quite as comfortable.
Now, Judge leads off the 7th inning, John. And I got a stat that will make you go, wow.
Does it specifically have something to do with the 7th inning?
No, it has something to do with that man. And it is a stat that has been dug up by my buddy Buster Olney. It'll be a wow stat.
So that's a tease, right?
Yeah. As Frazier works a walk.
I mean, there are a lot of stats that would wow me about Aaron Judge.
This is just one more.
Okay.
So here's Matt Davidson, who committed that error at first base. 17 home runs for Davidson. First and second. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back to the screen. Some action in the Yankee pen. Jonathan Holder is up. Swing and a miss.
Let's see what Austin Romine and Montgomery go with here. We've been told Davidson likes to chase that high fastball, can't handle it. The curveball's been such a good pitch for Montgomery. Probably will try to bounce it here and get another swing and a miss.
One and two.
The pitchers will try to elevate the fastball when you have that weapon of a big 12-6 curveball. It changes an eye level of a hitter. Gives you a better chance to get a swing and a miss later on in the count.
Bounce it up there. Good block there by Romine. Keeping the runners put.
Austin Romine putting on a clinic behind the plate, blocking the baseball. I mean, this one so far out in front of home plate, you almost have to create your own angle as a catcher with your chest protector. Nice play.
Montgomery has 2 3-ball counts this inning. He had none in the first 5 innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him. So he works out of trouble. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left. Oh, we have a stat for you, baby. We go to the 7th inning, and the Yankees lead this one 6-1.
game box score, which is brought to you by your local Chevy dealer. Sorry about that. It's going to be the Yankees in-game box score. You see some damage in the middle of the lineup there. Tyler Austin with his first big league home run this year. Chase Headley having a good day, 2 for 3, a double and a single. Torreyes with his base hit, single and a sacrifice fly.
Count 1-1 on Judge. Judge has walked twice, which leads us to our stat. So he has 51 walks on the year. There have been 5 rookies in Major League history in the modern era. That one's popped sky high behind the plate. It drifts out toward third, and finally in fair territory, Frazier makes the play. 5 rookies in modern history have walked 100 or more times. You know the last time it was done?
No.
1953 by Jim Gilliam. So Jim Gilliam did it. Al Rosen did it in 1950. Les Fleming in 42. Ted Williams in 1939. Lou Blue, love that name, in 1921. And then 2 guys before 1900, Roy Thomas in 99 and Bill Joyce in 90. 5 modern era guys. And Sarah Lang of ESPN Stats looked that up. I'm amazed at that.
Now, did you see this coming at all? This came out of nowhere.
No, not at all. I don't think anybody did, even the so-called, experts.
And everybody can say, oh, we saw this coming in spring training. There's no way that spring training would be an indicator. His batting average would be where it is, and the ability to walk as much as he has walked, and obviously the home runs and the incredible power.
I just never thought after last year, John, that he'd be able to keep the strikeouts under control to be in the lineup enough to do damage. Again, he struck out 42 times in 84 plate appearances last year. So this is just phenomenal what he's doing. If the season ended right now, John, you think it would be outrageous to say he's the most valuable player in the American League?
No, he'd be the Rookie of the Year and the MVP right now.
So, did I lie? Or did you?
No, that's a wow. That's a wow stat. But I think back to Aaron Judge in spring training. He was kind of messing around with a leg kick and then trying to get a little simpler. And I just think it got to the point he found something that works for him. Sitting on his back leg, eliminating the leg kick, and being able to let the ball travel so much further because he's not moving forward. He doesn't have all the extra motion. Pitch right there from Anaya. But I think it's that point that every young hitter, every young player wants to get to, where mechanically you find something where you say, wow, now I can see the ball so much longer than I was before. Because of it, the numbers are incredible. What a first in the American League rankings right there in all those categories.
So let's do the homework here. He'd be Rookie of the Year, he'd be the MVP, and he'd win the Triple Crown.
He's going to his first All-Star game.
Probably in the Home Run Derby, although he has not said that yet. And his last slide, he smartly went feet first, so he learns on the fly, too.
There's some pressure there, though, right, about this Home Run Derby? I would think so for a young guy who's so marketable as Aaron Judge is. Bellinger doing his thing in L.A. I mean, that, and Giancarlo Stanton in his home stadium, that would be something you had to pay attention to.
It would be fun, be great for baseball. I'm sure that ESPN, the network that carries the Home Run Derby, is rooting for it. Three and 2 on Austin. Speaking of home runs, he had one his last time up. He has 2 ribbies. He's 1 for 2. Fouled away.
Now I'm going to come back at you with another wow stat.
Okay.
Sent to us by our good friend Sweeney Murdy.
All right.
Yankees record for most walks in one season by a right-handed batter is 119 by Willie Randolph in 1980. Our good friend Willie. At Old Timers Day yesterday.
Well, 51 at this point would translate to more than that.
He's on pace. Right-handed batter for Yankee history.
You get the sense when you hear all the stats about Willie that people don't realize how
Very
outstanding he was. Really good player. Hit sharply and caught by Sanchez. And a 1-2-3 inning for Minaya and the White Sox. And look at that, Aaron Judge is walking to the other end of the dugout. In-game box score brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. So some damage up top, a couple of singles, Anderson and Cabrera with singles, 2 singles by Abreu. The only damage on the scoreboard came from Todd Frazier, his solo home run leading off the second. And certainly the bottom of the order has been held down by the rookie Jordan Montgomery. And that's what's coming up right now in the 7th. 7, 8, 9 against Montgomery. Yolmer Sanchez. He struck out twice. Pitch away. Well, Girardi, in meeting with the media before the game, we need length out of our starters. If he can get 7 out of Montgomery, he'd be pleased. There's a strike.
You mentioned it, 7, 8, 9 for the White Sox. Montgomery trying to finish 7 innings. He's only done it 1 time this year against Baltimore.
Last inning took a little out of him, 21 pitches, and that was after a 25-minute top of the inning by the Yanks. Ground ball short to Reyes. 1 away. Michael Ynoa is up in the White Sox bullpen. Now, you could put this under the heading of, gee, time really moves quickly. Today is Derek Jeter's birthday, and he's 43 years old. And it seemed like it was yesterday when he walked into the radio booth to talk with me and John Sterling, and he was a skinny 18-year-old kid, and now he's headed to the Hall of Fame in a couple of years, and he's 43 years old. So happy birthday, Derek. 20 big league seasons, 14-time All-Star, 5-time champion, 5 Gold Gloves, and 3,465 hits. Swing and a miss. Smith down on strikes.
Oh yeah, a couple of quick outs, easy ground ball to Torres. Now that big curveball has been a weapon all night. Weak swing by Smith. Montgomery giving Joe Girardi exactly what he was looking for tonight.
One and 0 on Engel. 1-1 on Engel. You know, we're talking about Judge with the home run derby, John. Meredith spoke to him about it, and he smiled when she asked him, "Were you worried about it hurting your swing?" He said, "I'm not worried about that. It's just like batting practice with more people watching." And Girardi said that with Judge's approach to BP and his strength, he's not worried at all.
Yeah, he doesn't have to change his swing to get the ball in the air to drive it out, right? I mean, it's just keep the same approach, middle of the field the other way. All these talks about launch angles and all that. Every time the ball comes off his bat, it seems to have that good carry on it. And most players have to pull the baseball to hit home runs. Aaron Judge isn't one of those guys.
Right.
Who doesn't have to change anything.
Two.
Clay Bellinger swing a bat. That is a violent swing.
Cody,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
His old man's Clay, right?
Yeah.
Totally different player, but I watched him the other night. I was amazed at the bat speed that he developed.
Rounded to third, backing up Headley gets a nice hop, and he gets the speedy angle for the final out of the inning. So a strong 7 for the rookie Jordan Montgomery. We'll go to the 8th. Yankees lead 6-1. % or more on car insurance. 6-5-1 Yankees. 1-5-3 for the White Sox. Strong 7 for Montgomery. Holmberg lasted 5 1/3. Tyler Austin, his first home run since being called up. Starlin Castro left the game in the 3rd inning with a right hamstring strain, trying to beat out a slow ground ball at 3rd. And Jack Curry of Yes is reporting that Tyler Wade, in all likelihood, is coming up tomorrow. Well, Rick Renteria makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. More science, less fear. And that call brings in Michael Inoue. And he will deal to Ellsbury, as you see Inoue's numbers. Strike. First game back for Ellsbury. 2 games of rehab. Coming back from the concussion. He's 1 for 2, well, 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Reached on an E1 as well. That goes into the Yankee dugout. Looks like everybody's okay. It's amazing that it wasn't that long ago, John, there was no fence in front of the dugout. Real sitting ducks. You played spring training games in Dodgertown, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That was scary.
That was right on top of it.
I don't think there was a roof.
No, there were no roofs. I mean, you'd be sitting there baking in the sun during a spring training game, rockets coming in your dugout.
Oh, Didi grabbed his glove.
That'd be the guy I'd want protecting me, that's for sure.
Loop left side. And caught by Anderson. 1 away here in the 8th. So here's Chase Headley. And he is 2 for 3. Has the average up to 258. Boy, if you're emotional about your players as a manager or an organization, now on his line to right field, another base hit. Chase Headley would be a tough guy to manage because you've got to hang through what could be somewhat extended lulls. I mean, the streakiness of Headley would drive you nuts if you're that reactionary.
Give Headley a little bit of credit here as he takes care of a short little slider that's up and hammers it into right field, because when he went through those struggles, all of a sudden everybody was saying, who's going to play third base for the New York Yankees? Gleyber Torres is down in the minor leagues. Obviously he got hurt, but give Headley some credit for kind of silencing some of those questions with his play.
That one gets past Smith as Headley moves to second, and he said a really smart thing. He said, when people asked him, are you worried about Torres coming up before Gleyber got hurt? He said, every day you're in the big leagues, there's somebody that wants your job.
That's right.
He said, somebody's always looking over your shoulder. He said, so you have to perform to keep your job. And that's a smart way to look at it. Don't just think because it's Gleyber Torres, it could be anybody.
And that's reality. I mean, if you don't get the job done, they're going to be looking for somebody. What Brian Cashman, I read today, said, we're always looking to get better players than we already have. That's just the reality of being a Major League Baseball player.
That was a wild pitch that got Headley to second. Three 3-0 on Romine. Now, John, I have to ask you about Romine, you being a former catcher. You hear so many people, like, say it softly. They don't want to say it because it almost looks like you're dissing the other catcher. but how pitchers love to pitch to Romine, and he walks right there. That he's great behind the plate. Okay, tell me why he's great behind the plate.
Well, there are a lot of reasons, and the first thing I would say from a pitcher's standpoint, throwing to him, is his pitch selection and the way he calls a game. And obviously that starts with preparation, going through scouting reports, knowing exactly how it's going to game plan against an opposing lineup and how that matches with your pitcher that night. And then you throw in all the things that he's been doing, blocking baseballs, throwing the ball to second, and communicating with your pitcher, going to make it to be a comfortable situation with him behind the plate.
And you're perfect to answer this because you started for a long time and then you backed up. Is it tougher to be that good when you don't play all the time?
The pitch selection and calling a game is there. That's like a, I hate to say a gift, but it's almost like something that you, should I say, you recognize a pitcher and how he, what kind of stuff he has, and you just have the ability to process and call a game.
Scoop that one to left. Cabrera makes the play for the second out.
So that's not going to change if you don't get playing time. I think the one thing that Austin has done so much better as he's gotten older, he doesn't worry about his offensive game and not playing every day. It's like, I know what I can do, work with the staff, try to win the game, and if I get a big hit, which he usually does, he showed his numbers with runners in scoring position before, it's just, I think he's got a sense of calm about his game now that maybe he didn't have a few years ago. And you're right, it's not a slight against Gary Sanchez. Gary's such a talented player. I mean, any pitcher would want him in the lineup for what he does at the plate. I mean, he's got a chance of driving in 4 or 5 runs every night. And he's got all the tools behind the plate. It's just Austin Romine's a little bit different of a player. I mean, that man right there is incredibly talented.
Oh, 2 on Gardner. First and second for the Yanks. 2 men out. We're in the 8th inning. They lead 6-1. And to think, John, Romine was designated for assignment at least 3 times that I can remember. Any team could have had him. Nobody picked him up, and the Yankees then brought him down to the minor leagues again. He was on the 40. So I think there are teams now that would start him. Strike 3. Gardner down looking. No runs a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Now Austin goes to put on the catcher's gear for the 8th inning. Hurry into your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on 2017 models. By Spectrum. Join America's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice provider. Get the Spectrum Triple Play today. By Land Rover, above and beyond. By New Jersey Department of Health. Struggling with addiction? Call 844-REACH-NJ or go to reachnj.gov. By NYA Langone, orthopedics. And by Lexus, experience amazing. What an amazing city Chicago is. The second city, and so far it's been nice to the Yankees. First game of a 4-game set. The ivy that's famous is at Wrigley, but there's also ivy in center field here at Guaranteed Rate Field. New pitcher for the Yankees, Jonathan Holder. And Tim Anderson fouls back his first pitch. Those are Holder's numbers. So Montgomery goes 7 innings, gives up 5 hits and 1 run. Also struck out 8, and here's an interesting part of the 8 strikeouts. 4 of the strikeouts came on pitches in the dirt, so they weren't picking up out of his hand or identifying the pitch. The 0-2.
Holder in the game. He last pitched on Saturday against Texas.
Strike 3, and Anderson is tagged out by Romine.
You mentioned Montgomery getting all those swings and misses out of the strike zone. Same thing for Holder right here. That big curveball. Romine backhands it. Applies the tag.
There's a base hit to center field by Melky Cabrera, his second hit of the night.
Well, Melky give himself a round of applause. I think he gets a changeup and just stays down and through it. Nice piece of hitting. Pitch that wasn't too bad, down and away. Cabrera just takes care of it. Holder pitched an inning and 2/3 on Saturday, and the fastball velocity looks a little short tonight, about 90. And that last fastball, used to seeing him throw a little bit harder.
of things that happen, and if the Yankee bullpen holds on, the story of this game has to be Montgomery. I mean, a rookie who's turning into a stopper of bad streaks by the Yankees. The Yankees have lost 10 of their last 12 games, and Montgomery has done nothing but continue to win. I mean, you just ask a rookie to slide into the 5th spot, John, and give us some innings and keep us in games, but he's doing more than they could have hoped for, and dared ask as Dellin Betances is up.
I think the greatest compliment you can give any starting pitcher, whether he's a veteran or a rookie, is that you know exactly what you're going to get when he takes the ball every 5th day. That's exactly what I feel like when Jordan Montgomery's day comes up. You know what you're going to get, a quality performance. Throws the ball over the plate, doesn't beat himself.
See how John did on his keys to the game. Did you like Montgomery's curveball?
I loved his curveball.
They did take advantage of Holmberg.
I guess it took a little longer than they thought, but they took advantage of him and get the ball to Dellin Betances at some point.
Wow, nailed it. Check swing by Abreu, so a walk, and Holder's getting himself into trouble here, first and second with 1 man out. It seems like it's a blowout, John, but 6-1 is far from a blowout in a ballpark that does yield runs.
Yeah, it's far from a blowout. Joe Girardi on the phone getting ready to make sure that Betances is ready to go, but like I said, I think Holder with that inning and 2/3 on Saturday, this doesn't quite look as fresh as we've seen him this year. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, going to go out to the mound, give Betances a little more time.
Larry's from Chicago, so he has 4 days to be in his old stomping grounds. Was a pitching coach for the Cubs, so very familiar with Chicago. It's his kind of town. Everybody covers their glove or covers their mouth with the glove, except Larry doesn't. You want to read my lips? Read my lips. Doesn't put his hand up there like pitching coaches. He's just going to talk. He dares you to read his lips. They both have it up, but not him. Don't you think that he's giving the information that people want to know? Here's Garcia. Grounded to third. He might have said the right thing, and you couldn't read his lips, but the throw pulls Austin off the bag. No error there because you can't assume the double play, but that was a double play ball.
Yeah, that's exactly what Holder needed to do right there against a very tough hitter in Garcia. The first pitch slider. Easy play for Headley. The good throw to Refsnyder. And just a play that has to be made.
So Joe showing some speed. And with Todd Frazier due up, he wants Frazier to face Betances. Stick around. On first and third. 2 men out. This will be his 30th game of the year. You see his numbers. I misread the graphic. It's his 27th game. And backhanded by Austin Romine.
It's not exactly the way you draw it up if you're Austin Romine behind the play going with the backhand on the curveball in the dirt from Betances. Sometimes he throws so hard and has such tight break on that. It's the only play you have.
Big batter for the White Sox in this game as they're running out of time. So the count 3-0 on Todd Frazier with Matt Davidson on deck. There's a strike, 3-1. 97 miles an hour. Tonight's high-speed pitch comes from Fios. Visit getfios.com. Oh, dropped the breaking ball in there for a strike, 3-2. Frazier's 2 for 3 lifetime against Betances. One of the 2 a home run.
Saw that little smirk on Frazier's face right there. You throw 97 miles an hour and then you drop a 3-1 curveball for strike 2. Now what's coming?
And Frazier walks to load the bases. You know, little things that don't show up in the box score. Ref Snyder has to make that throw to first base on an easy double play. You don't even have to bring Betances in. Instead, he hooks it wide, and now you got a situation if Davidson runs into one, it's a 6-5 game.
Yeah, with his 17 home runs, he's got plenty of power.
Missed outside. The 2-0. Strike. Bases loaded with White Sox. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Well, the 2-0 fastball was the one that Davidson probably should have taken a pass at. That curveball down and away, almost unhittable.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded, 6-1 Yankees, bottom of the 8th. Betances on a relief of Holder. The pitch. Swing and a miss, got him. And that will do it. No runs to hit, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. We'll go to the 9th. Yankees holding on to a 5-run lead. trouble there. Holder didn't have his best stuff, and then Betances walked Todd Frazier. But then he strikes out Davidson to end the inning. We go to the 9th inning, and Rob Refsnyder will lead off. Pitches outside. 1-0. Enoa still on the mound. One and one in all likelihood, according to reports from Yes Network's Jack Curry. We'll see Tyler Wade up here, and the Yankees have tried to turn Wade into a new age Ben Zobrist. And with the game the way it is now, John, with 3 players on the bench usually, a guy who could play every position, you see chasing Shreve up, is very valuable. And they've had Wade in the outfield. His natural position is short. He's played second, he's played third, and if he comes up, he'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow as a second baseman.
It's amazing how much the game has changed in that regard, right? When I came up in '92, a backup guy who played all over the place was just trying to hang on. Now he could be one of the most valuable players on any team.
And, on the flip side, the Yankees have always really liked Refsnyder's bat, but they've never really felt confident with him anywhere in the field. There was that try at third that didn't work out. He's played right, he's played second, and he lines one into the glove of Frazier for the first out. So you can't just be a Ben Zobrist just because you could be in other positions. You have to play them proficiently and well, and that's what Wade has shown that he can do.
Looking forward to seeing him. I mean, he impressed me in spring training with the quality of his at-bats. Obviously, we're talking about defensively playing all over the place, but it's kind of that second wave of Yankee prospect that the fans are going to get another look at.
That one's ripped off the bat of Judge, foul. Well, when the Yankees decided they want to try to play Wade all over, he went to Derek Jeter and said, how should I do this? And he said, Jeter told him, just don't let anybody outwork you. You work as hard as anybody, and it will come. So that was Jeter's advice to Wade. Wade has a tattoo on his right arm that says confidence is key. So he feels good about himself. He put on 15 pounds of muscle during the offseason, make him a little bit stronger. And now we'll get our first look, if all the reports are right, tomorrow. And I would also think, John, that all these guys that are just waiting for the call in the minors, they look at this guy and the guy on deck and say, you know what? It can be done.
That's what I think Tyler Austin coming up this year has to look to these two guys, right? And say, you know what? I played with them in the minor leagues. I was able to hold my own. I can do the same thing that they're doing at the big league. Maybe not the same thing that this guy's doing.
Kevin Moss was at the Old Timers Day yesterday.
What a nice guy, by the way. I got to talk to him for a long time.
And he burst upon the scene, and then the pitchers made an adjustment to him, and he never really adjusted back, so it was kind of like a flash in the pan. But just a wonderful guy, a hard worker, and a lot of people talk to him about Judge. He says, I don't think Judge is going to have that problem because he's already made the adjustment. But he did say an interesting thing about youngsters. He said, that limited success I had, I think it was 91 or 92, he said, I think it opened up the organization's eyes that we don't have to go out and get free agents, that the kids from the farm system could come up and do the job. He said, and that kind of led to the core four. He said, my little success that I had. Yeah. He said, so that's what I take away from my career. Another walk. Third walk of the night for Judge.
Well, I think he's getting the reputation Aaron Judge is now, that you go around the league a couple of times, that he has a good eye. And a lot of the umpires giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, that's a borderline pitch right there. Could go one way or the other. And Aaron Judge getting the benefit of the doubt on that call, and another walk.
So here's Sanchez, 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Enola deals a strike. And that clipped him, so he gets hit by a pitch.
Take another look at this. A fastball running in and catches a piece of his jersey. Greg Gibson, the home plate umpire, on top of it.
Boy, you have to feel for Rick Renteria. He was the manager of the Cubs. He was the guy that was going to lead them into their first championship since 1908. Theo Epstein and company just loved him. And then Joe Madden became available. And Theo said, there's no one that I would make this move for except Joe Madden is so exceptional. I can't let this go by. And they fired Rick Renteria. And Madden was the one who goes down in history as breaking the curse. He takes over for Robin Ventura, October 3rd, 2016. Got thrown out of games Friday and Saturday against Oakland. So maybe it's starting to wear on him. And the thing that got Rick Renteria fired from the Cubs was this small codicil in Joe Madden's contract that Joe Madden didn't even know was in there, that if they ever switched the leaders of baseball operations of the Tampa Bay Rays, that he would have the right to opt out of his deal. And Andrew Silverman went from Tampa Bay, Andrew Friedman, I'm sorry, from Tampa Bay to the Dodgers, and that opened up the option, and he took it, and he got the Cub job as Tyler Austin goes down. And Tampa Bay was the one that alerted the agent that it was in the contract, called up the agent and said, I just want you to know, is he going to opt out or not? Because he has the right to do it. And that's it. Here's Ellsbury. It's good to be honest, but if you're not asked, you're certainly not telling the truth.
Yeah, exactly. So Rick Renteria always has to wonder, would I have been the one? Would they have had the same success with him as a manager? Obviously, Joe Madden gets a lot of credit for changing the culture of the Chicago Cubs.
And he beat out a lot of guys to get that Cubs job. He beat out A.J. Hinch, Manny Acta, Dave Martinez, Eric Wedge. The one guy the Cubs wanted to interview, tells you about all these internecine things that are in contracts, was Torey Lovullo of the Red Sox. But when Epstein left the Red Sox to go to the Cubs, it was put in the contract that allowed him to get out of his deal that he could not interview Torey Lovullo, who's now doing a great job with Arizona. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Line to second, and that'll do it as Ellsbury's retired, and the Yankees strand 2. Bottom of the 9th coming up here in Chicago. Yankees lead 6-1. $139 here in Chicago. A couple of Yankee fans have stayed the whole way, and why not? Their team is leading by a score of 6-1. And the Yankees have a new pitcher. It's Chasen Shreve, and this will be his 20th game of the year. 24 strikeouts in 20 2/3 innings. That'll be the bottom third of the order for the White Sox, who are combined 0 for 9 against Yankee pitching. Yolmer Sanchez 0 for 3. Most managers will tell you the most important game of a 4-game set is the first one. Because if you really have designs on winning, you lose the first one, you've got to win 3 in a row. You win this one, you could win 2 out of 3, you've had a good series.
This game felt really important, though, right? The way the homestand went, losing 10 out of 12. You get a great performance from your young left-hander, Montgomery. Try to get off to a good start on this road trip.
I think the toughest part of the stretch for the Yankees, John, is that they've lost series to teams they should beat. The Angels are okay, but you know, if the Yankees are truly a playoff team, you go into Anaheim, you take 2 out of 3. You can't get swept in 4 games by Oakland. And then you lose to the Angels at home, and then you lose a series at home to Texas. Those are games that are tough to swallow when they follow a homestand where you looked unbeatable. 5-1 against the Red Sox and the Orioles. Tapped out to Ref Snyder. 1 away.
Well, we already talked about it early on. The first month and a half, 2 months, everything went right for the Yankees. They stayed away from injuries, but now you get tested a little bit. This would be a nice first game of a road trip. Obviously 4 here in Chicago, and then go to play the tough Houston Astros. So Joe Girardi's had a couple of stressful weeks. We'll see if this road trip gets a little better for him.
Here's Kevin Smith. 0-1. So unless the White Sox come back, they continue to slide. This would be their 4th straight loss, and they would have lost 7 of 8. And now a low water mark for the year. They'd be 11 games under 500. They still have 2 outs to go. One and one. Line over the leaping try of Austin into right field. Smith will stop at first with a 1-out single here in the 9th.
Looks like that split change, and Smith just kind of flips it the other way. Sounds like he cracked his bat. Salvages his ball game. First hit of the night for him.
There's Adam Engel. Last time the White Sox won, they scored 9 runs. That was on Thursday. And over the weekend, and including this game, they've scored 6 runs in 4 games. Grounded to short, backhanded by Torres. Off balance throw to first, not in time as Engel beats it out. Runners on first and second, 1 out.
You watch Shreve, and this outing, his stuff looks outstanding as Chapman now starting to get his gun hot in the Yankee pen. I'm sure Joe Girardi wanted to stay away from that. Shreve is throwing the ball well. A broken bat base hit, now an infield hit.
And that'll bring up Rothschild. And this is more about getting Chapman ready than giving any advice to Shreve, because as John said, Shreve is pitching well.
Yeah, he's doing nothing wrong this inning, but a couple of weak base hits against him.
Glove talking. So back to the top of the order, and Tim Anderson. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Anderson tonight, 1 for 4, reached on an E1. That was in the first. Single to left center, grounded to third, and struck out looking. Grounded foul, quickly 0-2. Yankees have 8 hits. Check that. Yankees have 6 hits. The White Sox have 8 hits. White Sox have 3 errors as well. Fly ball, deep right, Judge back, track, wall, see ya. A 3-run home run for Anderson, and just like that, 6-4 Yanks.
Well, we mentioned Shreve has been throwing the ball well this inning, but that's a mistake right there, and he knew it right away. Fastball out over the plate, catches way too much of the plate, and Anderson, 7th home run of the year, a 3-run shot, and the White Sox making a little push here in the 9th. You see the reaction from Jason Shreve.
And the guy who caught it is the guy who was coming in, Aroldis Chapman. Romine stalling just to get Chapman more throws. And here comes Girardi. So from catching a home run to trying to get the final 2 outs of the game, Shreve is done. Chapman's coming in. The plays of the game brought to you by Spectrum. Get the Spectrum triple play today. Jordan Montgomery did his job.
Well, he certainly did. 7 strong innings for the New York Yankees. Taking a look at a bunch of his strikeouts, he had 8 of them on the night. The curveball, a big reason why. Also a quality changeup. And because of that, Jordan Montgomery responsible for your Spectrum plays of the game.
Now, Shreve allowed a home run on an 0-2 pitch. First time he's ever done that in his career. So now the Yankees turn it over to Aroldis Chapman. And Melky swings at the first pitch and grounds it off his foot, foul all the way to Headley. So Chapman returns to the town where he won a world championship. Across town with the Cubs. Was on the DL for about a month with a shoulder issue. This is his 19th game, 7 of 8 in save opportunities, and now this is a save opportunity because the tying run is on deck. Yankees lead 6-4, 1 out here in the 9th.
Chapman got some work yesterday, pitching a scoreless 9th innings, going back-to-back days. Pick up the save. Quickly ahead of Melky, 0-2 as Jason Shreve just watches.
The 0-2. 1-2. Now we told you that Chapman has 1 blown save, and that 1 blown save came in this town It was Sunday night at Wrigley, and that's when you knew something was up with his shoulder. Just didn't look right. That turned into a 6-hour game that the Yankees won. And then after that game, they headed to Cincinnati. One-two count on Melky Cabrera. Switch hitter batting from the right side. Just missed.
This Chapman looked like he wanted this. I think it came around the plate. Austin Romine trying to give Greg Gibson a good look at it.
Grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. So he hit 100 miles an hour right up the middle, and now that brings up Jose Abreu as the tying run.
Melky doing a good job fighting off the high fastballs until he gets one down. A lot easier to hit 100 miles an hour when it's down in the zone. Just drop the bat head, drive it right back up the middle. Not easy for Joe Girardi.
Abreu has 13 home runs. Two men who escaped Cuba and earn their living here in the States. One for the Yankees, one for the White Sox. Grounded foul. 0 for 4 against Chapman with 2 strikeouts. Again, rip foul. He's late on the fastball, but aiming for the right field line.
Yeah, he's not trying to do too much. Some pretty good swings, just trying to drive the ball the other way. Tyler Austin laying out, can't come up with it. So Melky have some good swings. Now the same thing here with Abreu. It's kind of dangerous if you're Austin Romine. You're trying to stay away from that one swing that can tie this game up.
Another foul ball. This job not for the faint of heart. Ripped into right center field. That's going to be a base hit. Split the outfielders and go to the wall. Melky Cabrera rounds third. He will score. It's an RBI double for Abreu, and the Yankee lead is now just 1. And the tying run's in scoring position.
Chapman just kept coming at Abreu, out over the plate, and again out over the plate. Abreu too good of a hitter. Just stays right on and hammers it to right center field. There was never a breaking ball, never a fastball in. Melky's going to score all the way from first pretty easily. It's getting awfully interesting here in the bottom of the ninth.
Alan Hansen is going to pinch run, so they get speed as the tying run at second. And the very dangerous Abisail Garcia, he of the 51 ribbies, comes to the plate. He's 0 for 4 tonight. Chapman turns and chases Hansen back. You want to keep him at second. He goes to third. You have to bring the infield in. A fly ball ties the game as well.
Yeah, we all know this closer is usually not very quick to home plate.
Hansen has a very big lead. There's a strike.
Also, no closers don't like pitching around batters at all. You see Hansen taking his lead off second. First base is open. Best hitter on this team this year, Garcia, up at the plate.
0-2 on Garcia. While the White Sox, after making the first out of the inning, have had 5 straight hits. The last 4 have come with 2 strikes.
Chapman going with the fastball, 102 miles an hour. You're wondering when's that slider going to come. Bounce one.
Is that a scary pitch to throw, though? Because if you get beat with your second pitch, you're beating yourself up.
It is, but the swings this inning on the fastball have been good from the White Sox. All the fastballs away. Romine tried to go fastball in right there, but it leaked out over the plate. Bounce a slider, change things up.
The 0-2. Something off speed there, 90 miles an hour. Garcia entered tonight's game leading the league in hitting against left-handed pitching, .455. But he was 0 for 3 against Montgomery. Dangerous throw. Sky the other way. It's strange watching Chapman, John. I wonder if you get the same feeling. The radar gun readings could be the same, and there are some nights that there's jump to the ball and other nights where there's not.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, you say 102 miles an hour, but you watch the way the White Sox are swinging against him, and they're either seeing it well, or you're right, it doesn't have that good life to it.
Grounded to third. They check the runner back. Headley across the diamond. The Yankees are an out away.
Well, he finally went with that slider again. I think he threw 2 that at bat. Garcia out in front a little bit, an easy play for Headley. And it's even up a little bit, but Garcia out in front. Can't stay back. Headley does a nice job looking Hansen back at second base, and then the easy throw.
Here's the guy who started the scoring this evening, Todd Frazier, with a home run in the second. Check swing, foul back to the screen. Not even sure if that was a swing, like he was trying to get out of the way. He fouled the back. Tying run is at second. 4 runs in. Bottom of the 9th, the Yankees lead 6-5. And now the White Sox down to their final strike. Chapman gets the sign, checks the runner, and the 0-2. High fly ball, left field. This should do it. Gardner is there, and the Yankees hold on to win 6-5. A 25-man roster, coaches and a manager all exhale, and an entire fan base as well. John, this falls under the heading of a game the Yankees really needed.
Well, they really needed, and they felt good about it with what Montgomery did. You had a nice little lead going into the 9th inning, but